contradiction between the two, and they will even provide evidence from their religious books. There are those who say that when you talk about archaeology and you talk about when your subject matter is evolution, there are those who argue that you are in fact contradicting the very essence of many people's faith, which is creation. Now, I want not to talk about the differences, but I'd like Dr. Kimanzi to talk to us about where they meet, because you're Kenyan, you're a scientist. Somewhere along the line, your life must have collided with some faith or the other. And then you go into science, your chosen field of endeavor. You will come to a point where it isn't a crossroads. No, it's just a meeting point. And that's what I'd like him to talk about.
Thank you, my brother. First of all, I would like to say that I'm a Christian myself, and I don't have any problem or any issue with the concept of evolution and science and creation. I believe very strongly that these two can live, if you like, in harmony. And I'll begin by saying that a lot of religious groups don't really have a problem with this. And I wish I remember to bring some quotes from some religious leaders, including one of John Paul, Pope of the Catholic Church, who said he doesn't see any contradiction between evolution and creation, or science and creation. Having said that, I want to say that all of us are very curious about our ancestry. Pretty curious.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you about your ancestry, or you as a person, you tell me your dad's name, your grandfather. You may go into several generations. We're all curious to know about our ancestry. You give me a long genealogy about your family, about yourself. If I were to ask you about the ancestry of your people, and his people and our people, you give me a lot of myths that speak to that. For example, the Kikuyus, they've been told, or they believe that their first mother was Mombi, and the first father was Kikuyu, I believe. The Kambas, they hold their belief that the Kambas began from a place in Ukambani, Zawi, or some other place. The Luos and other people, they have a story, an explanation as to how they came into being. We are very curious, all of us, to know where we came from. Very curious. And the question is, how far can we go? If the Kikuyus, for example, came from Mombi and Kikuyu, where did Mombi and Kikuyu come from? There had to be some divine power.
It goes into divinity.
Exactly.
It's God and then Kikuyu Mombi.
Exactly.
God and then them Kambat and Zawi.
Exactly. There has to be some divine power somewhere that created Mombi and Kikuyu. Science tells us that life began from a very single cell. Life began from a single cell. But science doesn't tell us where the single cell came from. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. That's the divine.
Instead, it talks about intelligent design.
Yeah, that is the divine power. That's where God. And to me, where science ends, that's where the divine power of God begins. Yeah, because where science cannot explain, that's where God or divine powers begin. So to me, I think it's easy. It's easy to marry the two. Again, you've seen like in the last maybe 20 years ago, or